Welcome to Fake Swords.
Real feelings.
Oh, that was a lot of feelings, Jim.
So much feeling.
They're so real. They're just so real.
I'm going
so real.
Gonna put feeling into it.
I'm gonna put fake into it.
Yeah, nice.
Nice. My name is not Dylan. It's Georgie.
My name is not Jim. It's Dylan.
So Dylan, what are we talking about today?
Well, today we're talking about E1, having a bit of a look back at it.
I believe, and it actually took me so long to figure out what this meant, but I believe through context learning over the past year of being involved in LARP that this is called froth.
Yes.
Which,
It's foul.
yeah, it's a weird term and I don't think I like it.
Maybe it's like an Irish cultural thing that froth is like, ew.
But like,
when
it's
someone
like-
was like, "Oh, we're going to go to the pub and have a froth," I was like, "Clean
what
up
is-
after, like, make sure
but
to
like,
wash your hands."
But the only thing I can think about froth is like if you're frothing at the mouth, like angry or like fucking
No,
visceral
that's what
or
it is.
something.
It's like, oh, I love LARP, and then like in Avatar, you know, your man who's like, I think that's where it comes from.
That doesn't make it better.
I think the other time you think about froth is when, you know, there's scum coming in from the sea, and you're like, oh, there's all this froth.
Yeah. Neither of these words are like the terms, history terms are good.
We should come up with a better word for it.
Yeah, I mean like hype is just a good one. I like. No.
No. No.
What about let's have some nice LARP historical discourse on recent events.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Okay, welcome to A1, where we have historical discourse on recent events. So catchy.
So it's got a nice ring to it.
Such a nice ring to
It's
it.
got a nice ring to it.
Jesus fuck.
I was on the job, my photography job, and I found LARP money in my photography case for some reason, and I don't know why. I took some photos at E3 last year.
Okay, did you bring your camera with you? Cause
Last year I did. Yeah, I
Okay.
took some photos of like
Okay.
the lance.
Oh, nice.
And I think what must have happened was I would have had these in my hand or something, and to keep
And
them
you probably
safe,
just
I
put
just chucked them
somewhere.
into
Yeah.
But like I was.
So
out on
what
the-
you're saying is Dave Warden are actually rich now with 17 rings? We can buy like 3 pints.
made some bank.
Hey, and also, I know, did we mention the Glade Warden in our last video?
We did.
Yeah.
We did. Yeah.
We managed to sell a whole one.
3. We
sold
sold 3 this event. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And at the extortionate rate we were selling it at. That's the same as selling
Well,
like 15
now,
of a
we
of a
did-
much smaller.
Now, I think technically we sold 3, but that meant we broke even because Tori did sell one for like 2 rings. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
and then gave Ben, because he sold Ben's copy or Percival's copy for like 2 rings because it was used.
Yeah.
And then
Gave Ben back that money.
gave Ben like 5 rings back and a copy. So like we actually
Alan, you work in sales, man. Okay.
oh god, we're never going to be
No. I
going
have
house
high
with
hopes
money.
for our new yo folk. She was telling me that she's got plans to make money for the house.
I mean,
Somebody's fucking
they
got it.
can't be worse than our previous plans.
Right, let's get looking back.
Yes, historical discourse about recent events. Friday.
Friday.
I was gonna say
I'm
take
gonna say
one for
we're
some
going to
reason.
start on Thursday. Because we did
Yeah.
an international commute. Usually we just fly over, but this
We did
time
do an international
we drove
commute. It was
over
actually
and got a
very
ferry.
It was very exciting and a bit
Very
different,
exciting.
but I don't ever want to do it again.
I wouldn't do it again. No, it was. What? How long were we on the road for?
Oh, we woke up at 5 a.m. Thursday morning.
Yeah.
We arrived at the camp, I want to say maybe 6 or 7 p.m. that day. And it was just solid travel. And yeah, like, it was nice and it was comfortable to be in your own car and on the ferry. And, so, and like, you know, you can kind of take stops whenever you wanted.
Yeah, but it was a slog. It was a trek.
It was it was an ordeal.
And the fact that it was the worst bit is the sun was blasting down the whole way, so the car was so hot. And then we arrived at Anvil and the heavens opened.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. I had to help. We had 2 new people from Ireland as well joining us. they had never camped before, never LARP before, and they bought this like a kind of complicated like 4-man tent from Lidl, and
it was actually a great tent.
It was a good tent, but like it was just like they hadn't put it up, so they didn't know what they were doing. So like we were standing in the middle of the rain. I was like, the instructions were like falling apart from all the water hitting it, trying to figure it out. Yeah, it was awful. I think there was some Navarre. I've completely forgotten your name, but you helped us out putting up that tent. So thank you a lot for that. That was very nice of you.
Yeah, I got back. I kind of came to see where you guys were because I had been putting up the icy tent.
Yeah.
And I got back to you guys, and it was like the three of you standing there, like, and then just this like super like heroic looking Navarre being like, "That's that done then," and then just heading back to their own tent.
Basically, yeah.
And you're all in like little like Japanese school kid.
We're all wearing rain ponchos.
Little rain ponchos. It was adorable.
But then we eventually got our tents, erected. But we were a bit soaked from it, but we got there in the end.
Yeah.
And then we kind of just had like a nice evening, just catching up. Obviously, it was our first time seeing all of our friends.
Yeah, we hadn't seen people in like 6 months. The entire long dark. Yeah, that's the problem with being over here is you can't go to any of the historical.
Discourse about recent events meetups, they can't. And then if there's any player events, it's just like it's a big enough commitment to go over the 3 or 4 times we can in a year. It's just not very viable to go over for.
But what we were thinking of doing is potentially starting up a player event over here, or at least a meetup.
Force everyone else to come to us.
Force you guys to come to us for one.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'd be very shocked. Fuck if I'm not.
You'd be grand.
Although
it's actually very much on me this time.
Yeah, but it's quite a wide lens.
Okay.
I often do a lot of cropping to the sides.
Okay. That's
not with this. I very rarely edit this.
Fucking have a plane come down and crash.
Do something completely over the top.
This thing's gonna be on fire.
I don't know what that is, but I'll make something of it.
Great.
Yeah.
You do that. Thursday was good though.
No, don't you do it. That's 3 hours. Oh fuck. Okay. Right. So Thursday, not much. We had originally planned on shooting a short film over there.
Yeah.
But because the drive took so long, the first ferry was delayed.
Oh yeah, the ferry we were supposed to get was like the Dublin Swift, which is like a swift ferry that's only takes supposed to take like an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes, something like relatively quick to get over. That was meant to leave at I think 7:30 or 7:30 in the morning. That was cancelled due to poor weather conditions. So the next ferry was at
and the sea was like glass.
Yeah,
as well.
It was like 8:05 then that the next one was, but that didn't actually leave until like 8:30, and then it is like a 3-hour journey instead of like an hour and 50 or hour and a half. We were just so delayed getting over that we didn't. We wanted to.
And then
film
when we got there, we were still kind of like, we might just be able to just jump into kit, film it real quick. But it was like lashing rain, and when we got there, it wasn't even on the table anymore. So
and then it was dark by the time.
Yeah.
We actually got everything up and was like, not happening.
Absolute nightmare. But it was a fun chance then to go and just do the shopping.
We had a nice walk around Traders Row. We bumped into our friend Tara. Who we've monstered with a couple times. Tara, I'm so sorry, I can't remember your character's name. You introduced yourself to us, I see, on like the Friday or Saturday, but it's
I have a brain like a sieve for names. Like you could be like, my name is James Smith, and I'd be like, it's already gone. But Tara is lovely. Went kit shopping with us. I got some new plate, which I'm very happy with. I stocked up on my new
plate.
Yeah, I got the whole like a whole big breast plate.
Nice. I forgot about that.
I got it from the Velvet.
And you got new shoulders as well. You got a lot of like cool.
I got the new shoulders over here.
Yeah,
because I got the plate to complement the new shoulders.
Sure, but I mean you have new plate armor now.
Oh yeah, I've got basically a new kit. I'm still not entirely happy with how my kit looks. It's not sitting right together, but it's so much closer than it's ever been before.
Yeah.
I think the trick is going to be the what you call it? The
tabard?
It's not
you don't have it.
The surcoat.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna put the surcoat over everything because the fact that it was under the gorget I liked.
Yeah.
But it looked better when it was over everything, so I'm gonna do it that way.
Interesting.
And see how that.
I'm actually considering getting a tabard to go over my chain.
That'd be
I think.
great.
Yeah. I think that's gonna be the next thing I do. But
I think we need to get matching tabards for the house as well.
100%.
Like all the other.
It just works nicely.
It works so well.
You know?
Yeah. Especially like I was looking at House de Sondre. All their kit, like the black and gold. When you see that, they all have the same tabard as well. It looks
Yeah, no, I love like there's so many cool Danish houses that have that. Like it's such a simple thing to just like matching tabards. Just brings everyone together. Like
guilds
it's really
have been
nice.
doing it in World of Warcraft for years.
I mean, yeah, they have.
Yeah.
I think the problem with Baywarden is like me and you are the only two like martial kind of knight archetype characters. So yeah.
And we both have gone completely different directions with like our character styles.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we came in literally wearing the same kit to a stitch, like.
Yes.
And just I went one way and you went the other.
Yeah.
We need to come back together a little bit for that house.
Yeah, and I think just having a tabard or something like that would do a lot for that. Even just for like for the battles, you know.
Yeah. But anyway, they don't care about this.
No, they probably don't.
No. But we can't talk about your sick as fuck new pole-arm.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I got a cool polearm. It's basically just a sword on a stick. So I mean, it was a perfect Gladeborn weapon.
Oh, it's a glaive.
It's great.
It's sick,
I love it.
I remember that day you were like, you went to each shop twice and you were like hemming and hawing, and then you just knew this is the one you want. And I remember I was with the whole lance.
That always happens to me though, because that's how I bought my greatsword first. Like it was like one of the first swords I saw. I was like. In my head, I was like, this is probably gonna be it. This is it. And I was like, but I just need to go see everything else. And then I think there was a point where I was just like, no, Jim, it's gonna be that one. And you were just like, yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, you
like,
just ran off. And then, sure, it was the same. Like, I saw Face Taker and I was like, take it off the rack. It's mine. Like, you know, it was love at first sight. We've killed so many things together. But yeah, you ran off to get that. And then I think the whole lance kind of congealed in the middle of Trader's Row.
Yeah.
And then I looked up and like, just the whole row like parted and you were just like swanning down it with this like freaking 11-foot polearm over your shoulder. I was like, that's a man who's found his weapon right there. So that was basically the whole Thursday was
bit of shopping, bit of catching up,
and everybody, the whole anvil went to sleep very very quickly on Thursday night. Like.
Yeah,
weirdly.
That was my first time being there on Thursday, and I was expecting kind of a lot more raucousness, shall we say.
That's how it was the last time I was there.
And I think it's probably
like, there
just
was like sing-songs in the bars till all hours.
I reckon it's just because it was very cold and wet.
It was
that everyone was very much kind of like contained to their tents. We did meet really nice people though. It was I want to say your name is Orion, maybe. You played someone from Highguard. I can't remember. I think you'd maybe gone to bed at that stage.
I could hear everything because it was too cold to sleep though. It was Orion, I think.
Yeah, and
the Earl of Dufrost.
Yes. I don't remember your OC name, but Gaston, you were great. So these two people just kind of rocked up,
walked into the tent.
I was like, oh, hello.
I was like, I don't know you, but enjoy the warmth. I'm going back to my igloo. No, igloos are warm inside.
That was really nice to meet the two of you. Hope you guys had a great event too. Oh god, that first night that was so cold.
That first night was about as cold as I've ever been in Anvil. It was actually Baltic, and like it's funny because Alan had gone to stay in a B&B. So like all his sleeping kit was there.
So jealous.
So in the middle of the night, I was like, it's fucking cold. And I was looking at myself and I had like my actual sleeping bag, a blanket I had brought, and then like my big woolen cloak that I got from Chow's Emporium. You know the Chow's Emporium cloak? And I was still like fucking freezing and I had thermals on and like a jumper and I was like, nah, fuck it. So I went over and got all his like professional camping kit and used it as well, and then managed to get like probably an hour and a half of sleep. I would like the walk. I think I think a universal experience. It was like The Walking Dead, the Friday morning, because it was just so cold that night. As well, it was our first time ever putting up our icy tent, so the fibers hadn't knitted together properly yet.
Which is such a wild thing.
Yeah, I only found out about that this event from Ben. That like when you get a bell tent, this is actually good information.
For once, you're going to get something useful from this podcast.
If you get a bell tent, put it up and get it wet before you use it, because when you put it up the first time, it's like fresh. The material is fresh, but when it gets rained on, it gets wet, and then when it dries, the fibers knit together again, and then it's properly insulated against the cold. But until you do that, it's not actually. And it's also a good shout to just brush water up and down all the seams for that same reason. Anyway, so Friday morning.
There you go, top tip.
There's your pro tip. Friday morning, kind of got up, got ready. We didn't really do much until time in. We were kind of walking around saying some more OC hellos and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think, so again, the two new players that we brought with us, they went off, did like the new player skirmishes and bits and bobs like that. We did a bit more shopping for...
I got my new weapon of choice.
Yes!
I made a decision, an executive decision that now Fenton throws knives.
Yeah.
Because again, we're quite hard skilled with the swords, you know? But I found through just the last 3 events we'd been to.
And a lot from you training with Alan.
Yeah, because I had trained Alan here beforehand, because he'd never done sword fighting. Yeah. Because they'd never done sword fighting. I gave them training here beforehand. Yeah. And occasionally I'd ask them to spar as a mage so I could have practice with it.
Yeah.
But
which mages are like
broken. Fucking broken.
And I think if you're a mage and can fight,
that's why Alan is such a weapon.
God tier ability. It's nuts.
But yeah, no, so through these sparring sessions,
Alan got real good real quick.
Yeah, well, I taught him that one guard.
But I mean,
and then you're a good sword fighter. But he's got very good instinct as well. Sorry, Dave got very good instinct.
But particularly with the staff, too. You know, for sure. Yeah, no, they're doing well. So fair play.
But yeah, no. So I learned from fighting them when I said go as a mage with shatter. I can't win that fight. Like European champion with a sword at one point. I can't beat someone with a stick when they can shatter. So I'm like, I need to find a way around this because this is my weak point in game, you know? So I said throwing knives are the way, right? Because mages have fuck all health anyway.
Yeah. You're like 4 or 5
if I just retreat to medium distance and fuck them from there with throwing knives, I was like, yeah, fucking great. So I went out and I bought 6 boot knives that I keep in my boot. So I have 3 in this one and 3 in this one.
It's just the most... It's that trope of like, remove your knives, and the other one, and the other one.
Yeah. And then I bought them from, I can't even remember which shop I got them.
Chow's as well, I think.
No, it wasn't Chow's. It was Eldritch.
Oh,
they were selling on behalf of someone, I believe. Oh, but it's like a baldric. Is that the name for this?
I don't know. It's a bracer, but
it's got these 2 knives into it with a quick release. And I had them on this arm for the whole event, and I was just waiting for a chance to use them. But I was practicing with them, and I can actually very quickly hand to here and in one motion throw them.
It's real superhero shit. Like, it doesn't seem like it's real life should work.
No, but fully they're buckled, and I can go about that speed, you know? So they're with relative accuracy for something I've never practiced before.
That's a lie, Jim. You had a board up here.
Over COVID, my brother got into blacksmithing, and I was like, will you make me keep throwing knives? And then we had little local competitions where we got relatively good at throwing knives. I guess I forgot I had that practice.
Yeah.
But yeah, at medium range, it's not hard to hit someone with a knife.
No, it's a relatively big target. So all you need to do is maybe 6-7 foot away from out of fighting distance, and then it's just pop.
And this is very easy to hit with this motion as well.
Yeah. Just
I found that was more accurate with them than it was with the boot knives.
That's a dodgy action to do.
Because I with the boot knives, I have to one, drop out a guard, grab it from my boot, bring it up and throw it. There's no quick draw from the brute, really. I tried it, but it just went...
Yeah.
No, I tried it, and it went, like, up in the air, came down on them. But yeah, it wasn't in my muscle memory yet, so I actually didn't even use them until late in the Saturday. But we'll get onto that. So yeah, Friday kind of... Time in came around anyway.
Yeah, well, we spent a lot of time actually kind of... pre-time in, there was a Valorn skirmish that was happening.
We really wanted to.
Because like Glade Warden, we're all about the trees.
We're all about trees. Trees being bold.
Trees being naughty. Naughty trees. Gotta teach them a lesson, you know.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, let's find out what the crack is with this. We spent lots of time trying to find the Night Protector
Spring.
Yeah,
I think
Spring.
It was, yeah, but they actually weren't on site yet.
Yeah, which we didn't know, and everyone was like, "Oh, they should be there."
We got an absolute walking tour.
We spent an hour just walking around Dawn.
And to everybody who helped us try and find them, thank you.
Thank you.
We were wildly unsuccessful.
Yeah, but we did meet Viridian.
Viridian, best mage in Anvil.
Yeah,
I think they said that's their second name.
Yes,
mage in Anvil.
It was super helpful.
Absolute wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, it was an OC chat. It wasn't time in yet, but yeah, they helped a lot.
It was an OC chat, but it was all but IC.
It was essentially IC, and
because we had been bothering Kat. I think they were still Kat at that point.
Yes.
And I wanted to stop because every 10 minutes they looked like they were very busy with something. We were like, about those Valorn.
Yeah.
So I just said, oh, we'll work it out for ourselves and stop bothering
so
this poor person.
Anyway, Viridian helped us and was very much like, oh, you need...
Oh, like a complete... Like,
give us actually
Pokédex on how to deal with
and we're like,
Valorn.
and then we were like, oh, we are in no way equipped to deal with these.
Unprepared.
Like,
we don't have
Venom. We like, but that, to be honest, that's just the main thing.
I'm a bow man for an execute, which would work, but at the same time,
yeah, but it wouldn't have worked against the big. Yeah. The big thing is what we needed Venom for. The husks, yeah, we've been fine to just execute them, but then there's the dryads, and then there's supposed to be some monstrosity or something.
Yeah.
Also, whoever
I think you can execute the dryads as well to put them down. I think. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think
somebody tell me in the comments. But I'm pretty sure an execute will put the dryads down forever.
Yes, but I think in order to get them to a point where they can be executed, you need Venom. Otherwise, it's like a shit ton of hitting. I believe.
Yeah, maybe.
Because they regenerate.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I think faster than you can. Maybe. Anyway,
either way,
if you were on that skirmish, we'd love to hear about it because
we really wanted to go on it, but.
It was very obvious that we weren't equipped IC to deal with it. And
as soon as time in happened anyway, the game took legs of its own.
Oh yeah.
We probably wouldn't have even gotten around to it. So
yeah, I think that's like a really good one to talk about. So do you want to maybe talk about like a little bit about the Fenton and Conrad beef?
Yeah, Foster, our friend, used to play a character called Emery. And they died. And so Emery got put on a bleed count at E2 last year, and I saved him. And it was like this big kind of like bonding moment between Emery and Fenton. And then when I wasn't there at E4, he died. So he has a new character now, Conrad Dubastian,
who gives the most terrifying and unsettling... I'm going to try to see if I can do it. No, I can't. I'm too nice of a person.
Edge, yeah.
Foster, you're a dick. That's how you do it.
This character is a fucking dick. Right?
Yeah, he's a dick.
And Fenton just, like, OC, we decided, just spur of the moment, just before time in at E3 last year, that these guys would hate each other and it'd be very fucking funny. And that grew legs. And, like, started with, like, time in at E3 last year, like he walked out of the tent and I was like, what the fuck are you doing here? And like from there, like immediately in each other's grills, like I think slaps were thrown, and then like tensions just kept more and more throughout E3 to the point where like we were like throwing each other over campfire, throwing each other through a tent. Like Lady Diota comes screaming out of the tent like, you are acting like animals!
Two nobles like just throwing digs at each other and having like WWE fights in the middle of a camp. It's ridiculous.
But then E1 rocked around this year.
Also very passionate, so very in dog.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we hadn't even worked out what we were fighting about initially. Like we did over the course of the passionate fights, we worked out what it was, and it's
so passionate.
I don't think I see it's come out. It has to some people, not to anyone else, what we were actually fighting about.
Yeah.
But it's very funny.
But we're not going to tell you.
We're not going to tell you. Yeah.
Secret.
Because it's a secret to almost everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah. So E1 time in. I actually just happened to be in the Dubastion tent when time in was called. So we took just a moment to be like, oh, are we doing this? And he was like, let's just go for it again. And I was like, all right, come out the tent. And I just slap him. And that was it, like immediately into like this time, like a full on fucking fight. I think I hit him a kick. He was like at one point on top of me, like hammering punches into my face. I hip tossed him in full armor, came down on him in full armor. And in the middle, I was like, oh fuck, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, keep going. But we realized this time very quickly, last time we were pulled apart. This time the whole lance was looking at us and nobody was stopping us.
Oh, literally no one. Like, I was just standing there and like me as Tigers was standing there being like, I mean, I've heard about this, but this is kind of weird. Also, it's a little bit sexual, so like, should we get in the way of this? They seem to be kind of working towards something here.
So we decided to just get up, dust ourselves off one or two of these kind of things and then go our separate ways. But like, there was no resolution. So it was also my first time properly coming into an event as lance captain, because last time it was just put on me to be the lance captain of the Emerald Lance. And I was like, right, fuck. So I had plans this time where I was like, okay, we're gonna drill. So I thought, like, as a lance, we're very strong at line fighting, but we'd never been tested when the line breaks yet.
Oh, we got that test.
So I started running some drills where I broke the lance in two. I gave two fighting lines. I said, you guys act like Druge, you are the lance. And ran a couple of different scenarios where, like, I'd be like, okay, this time they have two archers and a mage, you know, and this
also
time...
shout out to Edmund. I can't remember can't remember if that's IC or OC name. Who we had met on the Friday, kind of just knocking around.
Yeah, who joined us for the lance drills.
I pulled in to just like balance the scales a little bit. Yeah. And then got brought in unknowingly into all this Fenton and Conrad drama.
I'll touch on that in a second. That's I have to apologise to you, because that was you came in at the absolute tail end of something there, and I just pushed you out of it a bit.
Yeah.
So I have to apologise for that. But yeah, no. So we were in the middle of running these drills anyway. They were going well enough, you know. I just basically was trying to get a handle on how everyone would react if it went tits up.
Yeah.
Right. Deliberately giving absolute line break to the Druge every time. Like, you know?
Yeah, because that was the point. It was like, okay,
it's an unwinnable situation. How do we recover? So the idea was we got knocked down. How do we? And I gave everyone a priority, like, you know. So mages, you are on repel and get people up. Tanks, you are protecting the people on the ground.
Yeah.
Archers, you're prioritizing Druge targets, i.e., like, take out the mages, take out the captains, XYZ. You know, and everybody did really well. But then in the middle of it, somebody came over looking for people for a skirmish, and I was like, sorry, look, we're running our drills, we're a new lance, XYZ. But OC, Foster and I had said that this is how we were going to resolve the beef, is the two of us were going to go on a skirmish, and whatever happened, but if we came back, we'd be best buds.
Yeah.
And it was wildly dangerous, because if I died, you would have killed him.
Yeah.
And if he died, Decimus would have killed me.
Yeah.
So that's what we were like, we have the potential to break the lance before it even fucking starts by doing this, but it's so funny, we're going to do it anyway, you know? So fucking Foster and Conrad stalks over and is like, right, let's go. And I was just like, I gotta get it over with, fine. And I was like, my second Ben, Percival, I was like, take over the drills here. And another story, I didn't see it
unbeknownst to us.
Unbeknownst to us, there was something going on with Ben, but I didn't even see it. But apparently he gave like the biggest eye roll and was like, fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, or I would have put him on a bleed count. Because that's Fenton's thing now, is putting people on bleed
It is. But, yeah, so you'd walked off. Oh, hello, butterfly.
I was really hoping it would land on my finger. I'm going to leave my finger like this and hope it lands on.
So, yeah, you had just walked off.
The two of us just...
Sorry, yeah, you and Conrad walked off. And then I was like, was like, well, I'm the master of arms. Like you had like delegated to me, I think, to run the. No, sorry, you delegated to.
I delegated to Ben.
To Ben, and
Percival,
then
yeah.
to Percival. Then Percival started being pissy about it, and I was like, what's his problem? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, because usually he's like got my back 100% in that kind of stuff, like you know.
And then at this point, I was just like, what the fuck are those two doing? They're going to go get themselves killed. Like, our entire thing is, as a lance, we're all supposed to look out for each other, and we're like, we want to be almost like an immortal lance where we never lose anyone, or we do our best to do that. And to have these two go off and like fucking just shit all over that, I was like, I can't fucking have this. Threw a massive fucking strop in the middle of the things and just stalked off. And everyone's like, where the fuck are you going? I'm like, I'm not letting them go fucking die, you idiots. And then Decimus, also as a loyalty priest, was like, yeah, I can't have this either. So me and Decimus kind of walk up, start like just like.
And this is the closest Fenton has actually come to death yet.
Yeah.
Having actually been bled out with a druge having a druge with a spear to my throat as I'm bleeding out, didn't put as much fear into Fenton as this did.
Yeah.
And
so, but it was a really interesting and like powerful RP moment.
It was like, and it was a very intense.
Very intense. Just as like a general thing, Friday was the most intense roleplay I've like probably ever been a part of, because it was just all go. It was such a short amount of time, but so much happened.
Oh,
and like by Sunday, I was white.
By Saturday, midway through Saturday, I was
that
white.
too.
I don't think this butterfly is coming back.
I don't think it is.
Okay. Yeah. But like
for me, butterfly.
We were so
butterfly.
You know, if you swap some of the letters around, it describes how they move. They flutter by. But yeah.
Yeah,
because we joined the tail end of the skirmish queue.
Yes.
So realistically,
and this was also when
bounced.
Edmund was like, because like he's a new character, new player, just wanted to come and have a scrap, and he comes along. I mean, Decimus are like fucking grilling the two of them, and
I'm getting in a huge like debate.
Yeah,
with
like
Decimus.
Decimus, like all but accusing him of like being like unvirtuous, and
he said like at one point he was like, "This is an affront to loyalty."
Yeah,
and that's when the fear went into Fenton, because he's like, "Oh, I'm about to get fucking inquisitioned here." But like, and he told me after he was this close to doing it.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh shit, he's like really taking this like." Fenton was like, "Oh shit, okay, yeah, I fucked up bad here."
Yeah.
Like, to our butt of Jake, but it got out of hand so fast. And it got into this like absolute fucking mental sparring match between the two of us, where he was like, "This is an affront to loyalty," and I was like, "Loyalty would be trusting me to know what I'm doing as your lance captain and all this shit." Like, and I was like,
and I was there in the middle.
I'm not a good debater, and I was like, fucking barely fucking fending off his like, "Oh, this is a real sword."
Oh no, put that away. Here.
Thanks. Oh, that looks real good.
Well, actually, yeah, it's like perfect for it. Yeah, and then I was like caught in the middle, because I'm like, on one hand, like, to Decimus, I was like, stop going off my fucking Earl so much, you know, I'm gonna have my Earls back, and then Fenton would turn around and say something stupid. I'm like, Fenton, what are you doing, you idiot? I have to come on.
I held my own well enough.
No, you did, but there was some.
What it was between, like, the situation was stupid.
Yes.
And you were like,
I was very much reading against the situation, how you were handling it.
This is fucking dumb.
Yes.
And I knew it was dumb. And the whole time, Foster was just, like, Conrad was just fucking stirring it.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I am so caught between a rock. I can't back down to Foster.
Yeah.
To Conrad. But I can't alienate, like, two of my, like, biggest allies in the lance either. Like, it was the absolute. I was just standing there like, this is the fucking worst. So anyway, we stalked back to camp. Eventually we got bounced. There was a great moment where like the three of you, because again, sorry, what was his name?
Edmund
came in and was like kind of getting into it a bit, and I was like, I'm so sorry, but this is actually something I have to deal with just me and him. Like, this is between the two of us, and I'm going to resolve it between the two of us. And I felt like, shit, I hate to cut anyone out of game.
Yeah.
But, like, he didn't know the history and he wasn't getting what was going on.
Yeah, which how could he?
How could he?
Like,
and I think I did it in a nice enough way. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, you couldn't understand what's going on here.
Yeah.
I'll fill you in after the fact.
And particularly because OC before the game are like, oh yeah, look, you can come fight with us, no problem. But then just IC things just escalated so quickly that there was no way that we could naturally
slot
and this into.
It was such a personal, close thing between the four lads, but look, again, apologies. I know we did get some good game with you later on in the week, so but then we went back to camp. Decimus eating me without salt, and then you fucking telling me off. And I'm like, this is the worst jape I've ever played in my life. Like, turbo to jape.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I gotta fucking save some face as the Lance captain here. And I went up and I was like, look, anyone who's in the Lance gather round, I have to talk. And I gave a bit of a spiel where it's like, look, I'm new to this. I'm going to fuck up. We're a new Lance. This has been thrust onto me. I have no experience. But hands in the air. That was dumb and I shouldn't have done it. I apologize. I will be better. And I was like, I let an old grudge getting in the way, influence my decision making, and you as a Lance suffered for that. I apologize. And everyone was like super cool, and I was like, so look, in honor of that, I'd like to, put this grudge behind us. What do you say, Conrad? And it's like, nah, fuck you. Shit, okay.
Just such sheer commitment to the bit from
So I don't know how to resolve it now as well.
Yeah. Well, I do.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you, Conrad. I've
stepped away from it. Tiger has stepped away from it.
Tiger's now a noble, and he's going to come to you on noble to noble terms, and it's not going to be pretty.
Class.
But it is going to be effective.
It's okay. He's not pretty anyway. So look, let's leave that there. In the name of here's my points. We're here.
Yeah.
Fucking narrowly avoided. Barely made it out of that one, huh, Ty?
Yeah, but to jump back to kind of what we're saying about Percival rolling his eyes and not taking this thing. Turns out, now I think Percival Ben more so. Percival's Percival's player had a lot of fun and enjoyment from an aura of freedom, a freedom aura. An aura that he received from liberating slaves as part of a downtime activity from his fleet.
Yeah.
That both he and Decimus had gotten.
And they had OC warned me as well. It's like, hey, these auras might be a huge problem for you.
Oh, and they were.
But that's all I got, and I was just kind of left smiling and blinking like, what?
But there was a great moment where basically Percival had a feeling of his aura, his roleplay effect was, and it's supposed to come and go, that he basically would just question authority and didn't like kind of just, taking, authority and orders on face value, and would always question them and, just be like, kind of like,
a little standoffish in the face of authority.
Yeah, and like it's somewhat quasi-heretical towards almost thinking that freedom should be a virtue and all that sort of stuff. And so, there was this whole thing going on of him just questioning things, and we wanted to go to the military council because it was the 1 year anniversary of how we had all played together.
Yeah, the first thing we did as a group was go to the military council.
Yeah, and so we were kind of both OC and IC were this would be a nice thing to do. And then as we were doing that, there was a lot of waiting around for the council to start.
Starting.
Yeah. And so we were just chatting with Percival, and he was like, oh, you just ever think that, sometimes there's just a better way of doing things, and he was like...
He said something I can't remember what it was, but it was massively heretical.
It was not necessarily heretical, but more very, very anti-Dawnish.
Yeah.
The heretical things I could forgive to an extent because Tyke's not very into that, and I was like, okay,
and logically, I could see where you're coming from.
But then
I remember he said something, and everyone in the conversation was like,
yeah, because he was like, you know what I mean, nobles then. they start giving orders, you're kind of just expected to follow. And I was like, yeah, of course, we're Danish. They have proven themselves to be better than yo folk by their test of metal. It's our entire thing. I was on the verge of passing my test, so it was like a very highly charged thing for Tyke. And I was like, no, what the fuck are you talking about? And then
there was this great moment.
Yes, yeah.
There was a great moment where, like, Glade Warden, without a word being said, just came together and acted. Like, no word said between us.
Yeah.
But we were like, something's up here. This is so out of character for Percival. He's under some kind of effect. And Tori was like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he's like, very quickly, do you consent to me just checking if there's any magic on you? And Percival was like, oh yes, you're free to do whatever you want. And he was like, detect magic, out of the tent, gone. And then you and I just taking like a flanking position on him while he's talking. And then see Tori like belting down the field to God. But then like he just kept I think he knew what was about to happen. He just kept getting more.
He just kept pushing it and like just pulling on that strings of like how far can I egg these fuckers on, basically.
And then we saw Tori, because Tori had one of these light up mana crystals, and we just saw it coming down the field again, and we were like, okay, now
we just want to grab him like by the arms, be like, you're not fucking going anywhere, we're staying here until you figure out what's going on. And then Tori would not come back being like, what do you make me run there for? There's no magical effect on you. What's wrong with you? And we're like, what? We're like, oh no.
The funniest bit is that this like full-on fucking wrestling match almost was going on in the back of military council, and nobody noticed that this whole thing was playing out in the back of military council, where we had like this guy like this, and like there was a mage fucking putting spells on him, and priests were running into the back.
And then at that stage as well, obviously his house Cardion were also figuring this out
independent of us. So Glade Warden figured it out, and in the most like Callie described Glade Warden as sword swinging himbos, and I think we lived up to that this event. We're like something wrong with him, quick subdue him. We like had him fucking held, like.
Whereas Cardion were like, okay, they went down the religious route of things. Look, Glade Warden now have a priest, so like we're like, oh, we got a mage, that'll do. We got mage and swords, we'll figure this out one way or another. It might not be pretty, but it'll be ended.
We have to put him on a bleed count.
But then so as soon just shortly after we realized, okay, it's not anything magical, then kind of like very not so casually and not so subtly, like Earl Guinevere comes along, and she's like,
much more casual and subtle than
Percival, would you kind of just would you mind coming with us for a moment? And there had been this whole thing that we hadn't really noticed, but like where like Percival had been like going against his Earl and everything.
He'd been, like, questioning his Earl and like going against her commands.
But it also going against his brother's commands. But honestly, hats off to you, Ben, for like
really
you managed it so well, because you told enough truths to have Fenton and Tyke on your side to be like, okay, Valiant can be a bit like awkward, and it sounds like he's like really like out of place here. We're on your side, because he'd only told less than half of his side of the story, and so there was this whole big thing.
Because he was like, he came up, but he attacked me with the rod, and I'm like, that's a weapon, so I disarmed him. But like he never told that he had like absolutely fucking deserved it. And then we kind of relinquished that situation then, and we left it to Carleone. No, it's a dragonfly. It's a dragonfly. Respect it.
I didn't see it. I just saw something. This is the problem with the nature office.
Here. Come to me. No, that's more of a Carleone thing. Anyway, so then that kind of we kind of let them resolve it, because we had your test of metal to resolve.
My test of metal.
I'll let you tell this one.
So
this pen.
My test of metal was, I think I mentioned it in the last video.
We went through it in the last video, so let's just say how it resolved.
So basically I had to tell a story, I had to regale the Lance. Kind of almost like teach them a lesson almost of kind of like what it meant to be loyal to each other, and what it meant to look out for each other, and what it meant to like fight properly as a unit to avoid, falling victim to what had happened to Ronan, your previous character. And so I gave what I thought was quite a heartfelt story, and just like this kind of like mini saga of like
what had happened. Very well told.
Thank you.
Very well told. Like, you're underselling yourself. It was like a call and repeat based on like the 4 stages of battle.
Yeah, so the whole thing was like I wrote a story that was reminiscent of what had happened, in that we were told to go hold a part of the field, then we needed to charge, and then obviously when you charge you fight, and then unfortunately with Ronan, after you fight you die. And so I had this kind of built this into a story of, you know, what the stages of battle are for any good Donish soldier, and what you should, you know, have in your heart going into battle. Like, this is what you need to do, and this is what might be asked of you. You might be asked to hold something, but when it's time to charge, we're Donish, we charge, and then we fight, and we fight for glory, and then if we die, we also die for glory.
Every
stage, you know, you do so without fear. So I would say, so when it's time to hold, you hold. So hold with no fear. And then I would say, so hold, and everyone had to like repeat with me. And so
it was very good.
Yeah, it was a very cool moment. But so I did that, and then Fenton had this thing where Percival was like the only one who was with us there, and she was like, okay, he kind of gave the fate of my nobility into Percival's hands, which is a very risky maneuver considering Percival's like ideals towards
nobility at that point in time. Yeah,
but I think thankfully Percival had like very much beat himself up, because the whole thing of that Ronan died because of a wager between him and
and he died. He died as well, rushing in to save Percival.
Yes,
so it was very much like Ronan's death was tied to Percival. Like,
100%. But so Fenton had given this thing that like if Percival feels that this was an accurate representation of what had happened, and that I've done Ronan justice in this story, that he used to throw his sword at my feet, and that would be like the acceptance of that I was ready for nobility. Oh, good idea. Reminder: take your bands off your weapons. So yeah, but I did that, passed, and now I am Sir Tig Blackthorn.
Yeah.
Which is fucking metal as fuck.
Yeah.
Because
which is very apt considering we're trying to fight the Valor.
Yes.
Being Sir Blackthorn is...
Yeah. I'm gonna get so much oil of Blackthorn, and it's gonna be great.
Venom fucking everybody.
But yeah, so that was really cool. And then I think other things on Friday, we had a couple of nice interactions we recently found out there's a load of Irish people that also go to Empire.
Yeah.
So shout out to Angus, who plays Derwin.
Yeah.
Had a nice little interaction with him on Friday. I think you interacted with it on Saturday as well, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember if it was Friday or Saturday, but he found us at the Glory Square. It was Friday.
Yes, he that was quite early on.
And found us. Because we had said our characters had met on the Trods.
Yeah.
And it was brief because, again, the weekend got away from us. But I got a good little bit of roleplay. We walked, I think, as far as Traders Row, had a good chat, stopped, chatted a bit for a bit there. He gave me kind of the ins and outs of what's happening, like, in the marches and with Navarre and stuff. So that was great. I love getting more Navarre in our gameplay, because we're so Navarre-focused as a house.
Yes.
I like to be able... I'm glad now that we actually have some friends in Navarre.
Yeah, and we also... kind of skipped ahead to Saturday, but we also, just because we're talking about Navarre game, we also met with Caro, who's one of the Navarre generals. Had some cool interactions with him, so thanks for that. That was cool. But yeah, maybe that's kind of Friday. Maybe we do Saturday and Sunday because that was kind of Thursday and Friday. Maybe we do Saturday and Sunday in the next video.
Yeah, because I think we're almost.
I think we're we're about that now. So
cool.
So Jim, why don't you finish this episode with like a nice piece of advice for everyone at home?
Okay. In life, in every facet of life, family, friends, work, play, whatever it is, the most important bit of advice I could possibly give you is just don't be afraid. Just to your core.
I knew it was going to be this.
Don't be afraid to cause a scene. Goodbye.